finishing stain put on it. So it needs to be done. And it's starting to get little spots, little stains like these. Right. Because, you know, it doesn't have anything waterproof on it. So that would have to be cleaned off first. And my husband's really concerned about his fish pond, and he doesn't want to use bleach solution or anything like that. So what do you use to clean off decks? Bleach solution?
If there was no pond here, I would start the chat telling you we use a sodium hypochlorite, which is bleach, and a purple cleaner, which gets along with nothing. That's why it cleans so well.
Yeah.
And with the fish here, basically I will clean what he suggests.
Yeah.
Because we have used a whole bunch of things that's environmentally friendly, which means that it gets along with the mold.
Let me go see. I see a list of some things. I'm not sure if there's a cleaner on it or not.
There are. There's chlorine-free cleaners that we have used, and with having...
Direc cleaner is what he had written down.
Sure.
Have you heard of that one?
No ma'am, I haven't, but that doesn't mean that, you know, it's essentially the dilemmas I see here obviously is, you know, moving the things off. You've got a vine that's going through, and this is pressurized water that doesn't get along with foliage well.
Yeah.
And
right.
that's the reason that it cleans is basically if you leave the molds and the green stuff, I think been described as mosses and algae. If you don't have something that they don't get along with, they die. And that's what cleans the deck, because that's the bad stuff on it.
Right. But this is a new deck, so it doesn't really have a big algae coverage.
Oh, I agree. I agree.
Mildew or anything.
I agree. But the dark stuff you see is mold. And here again, if we didn't have an environment to worry about, I can tell you that in a very brief period of time, we could have this deck looking good as new and beautiful with the chlorine-based cleaners that we can't use.
Right.
So we do the best we can, and we ask for your help in choosing a product.
Okay. Well, this is the one. I don't know where he found it. It's called Restore a Deck.
Okay.
Yeah, you can.
I'll get a shot real quick here.
Okay, that's a good one.
Let's study it and make wise choices.
Okay, yeah, and maybe you have experience with something else that works just as well. So, whatever. Have you used other things in situations like this?
One of my Craftsman has in an OxyClean kind of thing. This is a chlorine free.
So it's oxygen instead of chlorine,
exactly.
sort of like that.
All right. Exactly. Was it Billy Mays? Billy Mays is the pitch guy that did the OxyClean.
Yeah.
And you need a sealer on here, which is going to help a lot.
Exactly, yeah.
Do you have a choice of color or product?
Yeah, a light golden color, and then here's some products that he has researched. You probably got the picture of that already. Maybe it's TWP 100. I can even give you this when you're...
That's okay. I have a permanent copy here.
or Defy Extreme.
Sure.
Those sound familiar.
Well, no, I'm going to pick his first choice. I'll put anything down here that you like.
Yeah, that's...
I'm going to tell you from my research, I studied this for the last 12 years since I quit teaching, and I can come up with a case for almost anything to use and anything not to use, depending upon who you ask.
So he found these by... There's some website that does it by area and weather and season, and you know they use a lot of variables. So, but whatever you suggest is
okay.
You look into that too.
Well, the thing that I most like to do is to put the color of your choice and the product of your choice down here, because as the applicator, it's hard for me to go wrong if I'm using these things that you vet out and research. I agree.
Make my husband happy.
Well, that's my goal, is to make your husband happy. It really is.
And then. So this light golden color, it's a honeycomb, and it's from TWP, or the one from Defy Natural Pine.
Sure. Okay. Well, no, I'm going to go with this first choice, TWP 100, and the light golden color, and I'm going to get a sample to show him to say that we are talking about the same light golden, and the other thing is it's a translucent or transparent, means the same thing you see through, or semi, which see through less, or solid.
So the same color has those variables?
Right.
And
it's kind of like, you talking about sheen of whether it's eggshell, satin, or semi-gloss.
Yeah.
It's the difference between more and less pigment in. I mean, the most pigment would be called paint.
Okay, yeah, I think we'd
The least-
probably go with the least.
The
That's-
least would be transparent, which has
yeah.
none.
Right, because that's the way we have other things in the house. We have wooden rain around windows and things. It's just a natural clear.
Right,
finish. So
right.
we like that. So I would think that's what we go with.
So none would be clear then?
Clear, yeah. Yeah, but it would have this
Still
honey
the-
color,
the-
so there's
still
got to
some
be
color
some
to
pigment
it,
in it.
right,
Yeah.
there's gonna be
So
some-
like the
Not just a clear stain, not like that, yeah.
yeah.
A very light amount
So
of
maybe you
pigment.
could bring samples of that for two variations of that.
I mean, I think we can do that. I
20 by 12.
We can get the paint company to give us some samples about buying like gallons of the stuff in order to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
They would probably ask